name's Scott Schryver, and welcome to my world.
How y'all doing? It's your boy Marlon's World. Yeah! And welcome back to another amazing episode of My World Media Channel. First, I want to thank God for letting me do another amazing video, because without him, I would not be able to do what I'm doing today. Also want to give a shout out to behind the scenes, my girlfriend, and the one and only Devin, cinematographer and videographer. Without him, this would not have came alive. I appreciate him for his help and just hard working and just bringing my dream to life. So I appreciate him. I will put his info in the bio so you guys can reach out to him and things like that. So let's get into it. As you guys know, I love to sit down with amazing people. As y'all know, I'm from Chicago, but I done moved over to the Bay Area, Frisco as they like to call it. Ooh. So but like you said, well, as you guys know, I live in San Francisco now, and I've been able to meet amazing people, and one of the amazing people is who I'm sitting with here today. He's an artist, he's a sales consultant, and he has his own amazing studio where he creates his own art and also takes in art from other amazing people. So we're going to talk with him and see why he does what he does and what he loves to do. So without no further ado, I would like to introduce the one and only Mr. Scott. How you doing today, boss?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. First, I want to also thank him for taking the time out his day, because he's a very busy man. So without him, this also wouldn't have been able to come alive and, this come true. So first question I want to ask, also with being an artist and, having your own studio, how are you able to stay creative?
Wow, that's a good question. I think, when you're an artist, creativity exists everywhere. And I mean, it exists everywhere for everyone, but I think artists are we're very sensitive to creative impulses everywhere. So, I mean, it's talking to people like yourself. It's walking down the street. It's being out in nature. It's being on BART. It's being on Muni. It's everywhere. You're always picking things up. And I think I just got into a position where I'm very aware of that, and I pick those impulses up. Mm-hmm. I mean, I journal, I sketch, I draw, I have conversations with people. It's everywhere. I mean, sometimes it's actually just overwhelming in like the best possible way.
I feel that, because I don't know if you guys know, but you guys don't. I actually met Scott. Me and my girlfriend was actually going to get some food, and like right before I even decided to go in, like right before me and my girlfriend decided to like walk in, I told her, I was like, I want to go in there and talk to him just to see what he's about. Like the way he was just sitting at his desk, very in tune with what he was doing. That's what I love about people, and people bringing them onto my, my media channel. I want to dive more deep into who they are and why they do the things they do and what makes them better every single day, because not only do I need it, but you guys need that as well. Just hearing other people's stories and how they got into what they got into, and once again, why they do the things they do. So for me, just being able to sit down with you and, have this conversation and, just us going back and forth trying to set this up has once again been an amazing journey as to where we just here are now.
Well, to piggyback off of what you just said, it's magnetic. It's like you see people that interest you. You get inspired by people. You see things. You see advertisements. You see right. It's all out there. You just have to make the step towards it, whatever it is. Whether it's like you see something, I'll see something visual that catches my eye, like an advertisement, or I'll just see a shadow or something and take a picture with my phone. Or I run across somebody like yourself and just have a conversation. It's all inspiring. And if you look for it and you catch it, there's something to that. That's what ends up back in the studio when I'm here, when I'm making and creating things. I take all of that stuff from the outside world and I just bring it in here and distill it.
Yeah. Put it, like you said, put it just to your own creativity and work.
Yeah. So
going into that, once again, who has inspired you even to just, once again, do what you love to do?
I mean, so many people, but I think going way back to like the beginning as a child, I think it's so important, especially for artists or anyone, no matter what you're doing. Having support from your family is huge. Both of my parents were super supportive, still are, of myself and my art. When I was a kid, I was on the floor on my belly drawing. You know, there was always paper. There was always a book I could grab and draw on.
Yeah.
You know, a hard surface to draw. And that was huge. You know, I think about it as like that was the root. I mean, I still remember that. I mean, a funny story, like I was talking to someone about this the other day. It was like I was 3 years old. I was in like preschool, and I was at a Catholic school, and I was playing with blocks, and I was setting the blocks up on the floor, and I was putting one on the floor and one was standing up, and I had several of them. And the nun came over and she asked me, she's like, "What are you making?" And I said, "It's a cemetery." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, oh dear. You know, here's a little child making a cemetery." She thought it was a hospital at first. But what it was when I was, you know, previously that summer or whatever, we had been down in Florida visiting my grandparents. They lived, or the hotel was near an old cemetery. And so I just picked up that visual. I thought it was really interesting. Obviously I'd never seen anything like it. It was an old cemetery with rows and rows of headstones, and I just recreated it. And I feel like that was like one of my first creative acts as a child. And I remember feeling like maybe I was in trouble for making that, because the nun was kind of taken aback. And I just remember my mom being very supportive. She was like, "It's okay, you know, you're not in trouble. Like it's, you know, you're just expressing yourself."
And that's perfectly okay.
It's perfectly okay, and it ended up being a conversation about life and death, and you know, catered to a small child. But it was just a learning thing. It was always like, you know, art's always been about exploring and learning. You're just, you know, I think artists are just very, you know, we're just people that are curious. We just want to know more. It's like I always, you know, when I'm out there in the world and I'm seeing things and I come here and I draw or paint something, I just want to see something different. Yeah. That's all it is. It's like, you know, I see what I see, but what happens when it passes through me?
So next question, do you think anyone could be an artist?
I think we're all artists.
Okay.
I truly believe that. I believe that everyone is an artist. I believe everyone is born an artist. It's like anything. It's either nurtured or it's not. I mean, I have so many people come into the gallery, older folks, and they'll sit there and be like, "Oh, I'll never be able to paint like this or draw like this." And I'm like, you'd be surprised what you can do. I'm like, and I tell people, I'm like, there is an art store down the street on Market Street. I highly recommend you go there and pick up some paper, pick up some paints. Like, do it. It's never too late. It's just nurturing. You know, I firmly believe that everyone is born an artist.
An artist.
You know?
Because as I've gotten older and, you know, just going through life, I've been able to, like you said, see people, whatever they exactly are doing, they use that as a form of art. So prime example, like you said, for me, just being a interviewer, I'm able to express myself through interviewing, you know, just asking certain questions a certain way. That's my form of art. Just being able to get me and you to sit down and really key on to what exactly I'm trying, or like, I guess you could say the goal I'm trying to reach. Yeah. You know, just once again showing people the art of you.
Yeah. It's truly a creative superpower. Like we were talking about before off camera, you know, it's like it is using what you have, that warmth, that energy, that curiosity to open doors and ultimately allow people to feel comfortable and express themselves. And it's about connection, you know. I think really, no matter what you're doing, whether you're conducting interviews or you're painting or drawing, we all just want to communicate with one another. Yeah. You know, and there's so many things that get in the way of that in this world, especially in this political climate and everything else. It's like, it's really about connection. So, you know, many of us find ways to do that. You know, like what we're doing here and like what I do when I'm drawing and painting or whatever. It's about connection. Right. You know?
So diving more deep into who you are. Not only how long have you been doing it, but has it been able to help you through your hard times, or, you know, like those really dark moments? Because I know for me, I've done had a very few times where I've been in, you know, a dark cloud, or, you know, once again had a dark cloud over me, and doing interviews and just once again going into my creative like mode, I guess you can say, or my creative, you know, light. Yeah. It's been able to bring me to the light. It's been able to, you know, make me truly understand, like, this is my safe space. Like, this is something that when I am down and I'm not feeling like myself, this is like second nature for me. This is something I can go to and really bring me back to who I'm supposed to be.
Amen. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I tell people this. I'm like, art has saved my life. Like it truly has. Was it like 2010? I went through a really hard time. Long story short, I went and moved back in with my father in Southern California, and it just felt like a giant step back. I felt very defeated. I felt like a failure, and I was super, super depressed in like a really bad place. And what happened was I ultimately refound my connection with art and creativity. And so I tell people, especially younger people, I'm like, sometimes in life you take a step backwards and it becomes your greatest step forward. You just don't know it in the moment. You're so caught up in the place of being angry, being sad, and you don't see like it's part of a process. Like you are actually, even when you're in that place, you're working through it. You just don't, you're not aware of it, you know? But as we get older, we start to see that big picture and we realize like that was necessary. Like I look back at that and I realized that 2011 was pivotal for me. And it brought me closer to my art. It brought me closer to myself, to my God, to friends and family. And you find your way through it. And so, I mean, I mean it when I say like, art has saved my life. It gave me something to believe in and ultimately to live for. Yeah. You know, like and I feel very grateful to be an artist. I believe it, you know, to be creative, to make art is there's a responsibility in it. You know, there's a human responsibility. It's so much more than painting and drawing. It is being a decent human being loving, being kind, channeling anger. It's all of this, you know, it's more than just the act of making.
So, like you said, channeling your emotions and, you know, really locking into that. How does keying into your emotions help you with your work?
Well, you know, when you can sit back and evaluate your darkness or your depression or your sadness, what you do is you utilize that is your set of tools for going in there and drawing something. Like I have a piece, I wish it was here, I could show it to you, but it's a dark piece. It's hanging elsewhere right now for something that's coming up. But, you know, it was basically, to illustrate what the piece was, it was me going through this really rough patch. And I actually got in the shower one morning when I was feeling sad, and you know, I was adjusting the heat, you know, like the hot water, and I could see my reflection, you know, in the nozzle. Yeah. And I thought, even through feeling upset and sad, I was like, wow, that would really make a really powerful piece. It's just me crouched, naked, in the bathtub, you know, and vulnerable. And I took a picture of that, and then I ended up turning it into a drawing. And it was a drawing that when I first put it out there, I had people, literally artists that I knew, reach out to me like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? You know, like it was almost like a cry for help. And in maybe some way it was, but it became something that helped me get through that. I wasn't afraid of the vulnerability. I knew that like part of the part of getting through it was sharing it, realizing it's bigger than me, that there's other people that feel this, that are feeling that can resonate with that image. And that's why you do it. Yeah. And suddenly you find yourself working through the sadness, the pain, by sitting there and drawing, you know, and it's never failed me.
Yeah. So I know you really hone to that due to the amount of artwork you have in your studio. You know, for someone that's not really creative, they would think this is hoarding, but you know, but for me and you know, we would look at this as like I said, when I first came in, it was like, oh my goodness, like I need to see this every single day. I need to act like I would be okay with just sitting in here and just really being by myself, seeing this. Like as I've gotten older, I came to realize like art really helps you get that extra step. It helps you move forward in a way that you never truly thought. Just like, art is just like another form of music or, sports and things like that. Seeing that so much, it helps you. It makes you think very differently. And once you get like you said, more creatively, you know? So the question I want to ask, like I said, with all of these pieces of artwork, how is it that you're able to grab other people's stuff, but you don't have more so your own work up there?
Well, that's a conscious decision. Mm-hmm. Like I know artists that certainly have all of their stuff up.
Yeah.
I have, obviously there's tons of my stuff here.
No, for sure.
It's hidden away because I like to feed off of the people that inspire me. It's really important to me to to put their stuff on the wall and really have those markers to look at and remind me of where I was, where I am, and where I'm going.
Yeah.
Like it's, I've had times where I've been sitting there and I'm feeling like, oh, what am I doing? This isn't going anywhere. Like I've had times in my life where I'm like, I should just step away from this. And I can't, ultimately I can't step away from it. But when I can look at a piece of artwork, no matter what any of this is, I mean, these are my people, and it's it reminds me, get back on the horse, keep going.
Yeah.
It just always inspires me. I mean, sometimes, you come to the studio, or I come to the studio and I don't get any work done per se. I'm not drawing, I'm not painting, but I am sitting here listening to music and I'm looking at an art book and I'm taking all this in, this energy. And that to me is work. It's just like when we're out, like we were talking about earlier, being out in the world, soaking it up, having conversations, getting on
being
the
that
train.
Sponge.
So it's being a sponge. And if I can have this little oasis of creativity, I'll do it. I'll nurture this space and make sure I have this available to me to come here.
Because I like I said earlier, even before we were setting up, I was just thinking I want him to be more relaxed in a specific chair, but you told me the history, even what the chairs were sitting in, can you explain more as into the specific chair you're sitting in? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this chair belonged to the artist Peter Volkus, and if any of your viewers are not familiar with him, look him up. He's I would say it this way, think of him as the Jimi Hendrix of clay. He changed the game, just like Jimmy changed guitar playing.
Yeah.
This man changed it. And so this was a chair he used to sit on to work on these vessels.
Okay.
And so when they were going to toss this at the studio in Oakland, I was like, no way. You can't throw that away. That's Peter's chair. Yeah. And I never knew Peter Volkus, but I've studied his work and I'm familiar with him. And I just thought, I'm going to keep that. And I sit on it. I'm sitting on it right now. And it's another thing where it's it just reminds me. It's another reminder, and it's just a way of me, honoring him in his memory and what he's contributed to the arts.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So as we're about to end the episode, 2 questions I have. The first question is, for the people that are watching and that are trying to go into the footsteps of being creative, not even just with artwork, but just in life.
Yeah.
What is the number one quote that has resonated with you and that has got you through probably a lot of, ups and downs and, just through life to where you are today?
Wow. The number one quote. Wow. I feel so on the spot right now. You know what? I don't have one on the top of my head. There's so many quotes swimming through my brain and I can't reference it, but
how about one that you're just feeling that you just caught on to recently, and you've been like, "Ooh, that's caught my eye."
You know what? I can't think of anything. I could run and grab something right now, but I'd have to jump off camera to do it. But I will be happy to share a quote that maybe if you want to post or something. Of
course,
that.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm a voracious reader, and forgive me for not remembering.
You're probably fine.
But there is so much that I constantly am soaking up, and I'm sure I'll be able to find something. But sometimes it's not even like the quotes in like the book. Sometimes it's like conversations I have with people. That's just really, it's not even like a quote. It's just
a gem.
It's somebody's energy, or it's just like I'm very fortunate to have amazing conversations with people between this space, being out in the arts, the gallery. Sometimes it's almost overwhelming, but I receive so much, and I will definitely I will pass a quote.
I'm gonna post a quote once you give it to me.
Please, I have a quote. I have a quote.
I promise.
You will. Yes, I will. I'll give you
me
several.
all of them.
I'll give you all of them. I would be happy to.
Yes, I need those.
I wish I could remember them.
Hey, I understand. It'd be like that. Hey, look, especially when you're on the spot, it's almost like, give me money.
I also feel, right.
Yeah, I understand. So
I don't have a wallet.
No, for sure. Yeah. Talking about I don't have a wallet.
Yeah. Where is my wallet? I can't find it.
No, seriously. But the last question I want to ask, if it's any piece of artwork, once again, that you resonate with right now, what is it? And also why?
Oh, can it be a piece in this space?
100%.
Okay. I mean, absolutely. I would. You can't probably see it in the shop, but
y'all will see it as we talking.
It's my buddy JP Long's piece that's up on the wall here in the studio. I see it every whenever I'm here. I see it. It's big. It's powerful. Also, JP's a really dear friend of mine, and he's a friend that also is an artist that just inspires me greatly. So I get the best of both worlds. I get a dear friend, and I get an artist who truly inspires me. 100%. So I'd say that's the big one, and that's been on the wall.
And what's his name again?
JP Long.
JP Long, appreciate you for inspiring this man.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
'Cause now I got to sit down and talk with you so you can inspire me.
You should.
So JP, if you're watching,
he's great.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
All right, JP. You're on the spot.
You're on the spot, JP Long. But want to thank you once again for taking the time out your day.
I really appreciate it.
Once again, just dropping a lot of information that now I can think about later on, even as I leave, just being more creative with what I got going on.
Yes.
And even the people that's in this room that are listening, and the people that are watching, you're just thinking more into the creative act and being more assertive and feeling like they actually do have a purpose.
Absolutely.
Rather than just, sitting down late back, chilling in the bed, eating some McDonald's,
That's right. I mean, and nothing against McDonald's, but we're all, I think the thing too is just to add is like, we're all in this together. Yeah. We're all here for each other to inspire each other. And it's like, if you're trying to make that move and find that thing that you're passionate about, like reach out, I know this studio is always open to people, whether, you're into painting, drawing, or into whatever. It's a safe place of conversation and enlightenment and philosophy and all of that stuff.
For sure.
We need more of that.
100%, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you for watching, you guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love. We out!